Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. A mind as calm as a quiet lake at dawn. No ripples from harsh words, no storm from unexpected troubles, only a steady reflection of peace. This doesn't mean running away from life or hiding from its chaos. Instead, it means carrying a stillness inside you that no noise from the outside world can shake. In this video, we'll uncover the ancient Buddhist wisdom that teaches us how to build that inner sanctuary, a mind rooted in clarity, resilience, and compassion. These teachings are not just philosophy, they are tools to live with balance in every season of life. The Buddha once reminded us, peace is not something you find out there, it's something you nurture here. Together, let's step onto this path of awareness and discover how to remain steady and unshaken, no matter what the world brings your way. Number 1, no one can truly hurt you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem unshaken, even when the world throws insults, betrayal, or storms their way? The secret is not that life is kinder to them. It's that they've discovered a truth the Buddha taught centuries ago. No one can truly wound your spirit without your permission. Words may sting, actions may strike, but their power ends where your choice begins. The Buddha once said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can, and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." These words carry a quiet thunder. They remind us that our peace is not a gift handed to us by others, nor is it something they can steal away. It is a strength we grow within. Think of yourself as a great oak tree in a storm. Winds may whip, rains may fall, but your roots hold deep. You bend, but you do not break. Life will always bring criticism, rejection, or moments that shake our confidence. But here lies the hidden key. They cannot touch the deepest part of you unless you open the door and let them in. The moment we stop blaming others for our suffering, something extraordinary happens. We reclaim our power. We realize peace isn't stolen by the world. It is surrendered by us when we react without awareness. This isn't about denying pain or pretending it doesn't hurt. Pain is real. But Buddhism shows us a higher path, to see clearly, to understand deeply, and to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Mindfulness becomes our shield, allowing us to notice emotions without drowning in them. Meditation becomes our anchor, pulling us back to stillness even when the waves rise high. Self-reflection becomes our lantern, exposing the patterns that trap us in cycles of suffering and guiding us to gently release them. And then a shift occurs. The harsh words of others begin to feel like passing clouds. They may cover the sun for a moment, but they cannot touch the sky itself. That vast sky is your mind, open, unshakable, and infinite. From this space, you no longer react with anger or despair. You respond with compassion, with steadiness, with choice. When you carry this principle into daily life, everything changes. You are no longer a prisoner of other people's moods or actions. Their storms may rage, but inside, you walk in calm waters. And this freedom is not cold or detached. It is alive. It is warm. You begin to live with a quiet strength that nothing can shatter. And in that strength, life itself becomes lighter, more spacious, and far more beautiful than you ever imagined. Lesson 2. Discovering a teacher in everyone. In Buddhism, there is a powerful shift in perspective. Every person you meet can be your teacher. Whether the encounter is pleasant or painful, it carries a lesson that helps you grow. The Buddha once shared, "When caring for yourself, you care for others. When caring for others, you care for yourself." In these words lies a profound reminder. Wisdom is found not only in sacred texts or meditation halls, but in the simple exchanges of daily life. When someone shows us kindness, they remind us of the beauty of compassion. When we face harsh criticism, we are given the chance to cultivate patience and humility. Even indifference has something to offer. It teaches us the strength of standing on our own, With this mindset, every interaction becomes a doorway to greater understanding, and even life's difficulties begin to serve our awakening. This approach is especially valuable when negativity arises. If someone lashes out in anger, we do not need to drown in their storm. Instead, we can pause, observe, and choose a response rooted in clarity. By doing so, we protect our inner peace while at the same time expanding our capacity for empathy. Mindfulness allows us to notice these hidden teachings in the moment. Meditation gives us the steadiness to accept them without resistance, and self-reflection helps us integrate these lessons so they shape who we are becoming. There is a story from the Buddhist tradition of a young monk who once asked his master, "Where can I find wise teachers to guide me?" The master led him to a crowded marketplace. The monk saw people arguing, bargaining, laughing, even children crying. Confused, he turned to his teacher. The master explained, "The generous show you kindness, the angry show you patience, the indifferent show you self-reliance. Every person is a mirror. Look closely, and you will see your teachers everywhere." From that day forward, the monk understood that the entire world was his classroom. When we embrace this truth, we begin to walk through life differently, more open, less judgmental, more curious. Instead of reacting, we begin learning. Instead of closing off, we begin expanding. Over time, this simple shift turns every conversation, every challenge, and every encounter into part of our spiritual practice. And in that practice, we quietly grow into deeper wisdom, greater resilience, and a peace that no one can take away. Lesson 3. Embrace the present, release the past. In Buddhist practice, acceptance is often misunderstood. It is not weakness, nor is it surrender. True acceptance is the strength to meet reality exactly as it is, without judgment, without resistance. The Buddha taught, embrace what is, release what was, and trust what is yet to come. This wisdom shows us the essence of living peacefully in the present moment. There is a story of a young monk climbing a steep mountain with a bowl of water in his hands. Halfway up, he stumbled, and water spilled onto the rocky path. With a heavy sigh, he mourned the loss. His teacher, walking beside him, gently pointed to the ground. Tiny blossoms had sprouted where the water had fallen. "You focus on what is lost," the teacher said, "but look closer. Life has quietly offered you something new." In that instant, the monk understood. Acceptance is not about clinging to what was spilled, but recognizing the unexpected beauty that arises in its place. When we accept people and circumstances as they are, we free ourselves from the suffering that comes from wishing life were different. Acceptance is not passive, it is a deliberate act of awareness. It is seeing clearly, then responding wisely. Without it, we waste precious energy wrestling with reality, rowing endlessly against the current of life. Imagine sitting in a small boat on a rushing river. If you fight against the flow, exhaustion will overwhelm you. But if you align yourself with the current, you move forward with ease. So it is with life. Acceptance does not erase difficulty, but it gives us the clarity to navigate both gentle waters and fierce storms. This way of seeing also deepens compassion. When we stop trying to mold others into our expectations, we begin to truly see them. Their struggles, their imperfections, their humanity, all become doorways to understanding. Relationships built on acceptance grow stronger because each person feels recognized and valued for who they are, not who we demand them to be. Acceptance transforms the inner landscape as well. The urge to control every outcome softens. Anxiety loosens its grip. We stop labeling challenges as punishments and begin to see them as part of the rhythm of life itself. With this clarity, our heart grows lighter, our perspective wider, and yet acceptance does not mean abandoning growth. It means our efforts come from a place of peace rather than desperation. We still plant seeds for tomorrow, but we no longer do so with clenched fists. We trust that this moment, just as it is, holds its own quiet perfection. By living in this way, we learn to walk through uncertainty with calm steps. We begin to appreciate life as it unfolds, without being shaken by the changes we cannot control. And in this balance, we discover the quiet freedom of acceptance, freedom that brings resilience, wisdom, and a joy that endures far beyond the passing of moments. Lesson 4. Living with the light of gratitude. In Buddhist wisdom, gratitude is not just a fleeting feeling. It is a lens through which we learn to see the world. It shifts our gaze from what is absent to what is already present, from restlessness to contentment. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. The Buddha once shared, "Rise with thanks. If today you learned much, be grateful. If you learned little, still be grateful. If you fell ill, be grateful that you lived. And if you lived, be grateful for life itself." His words remind us that thankfulness is always possible, no matter the circumstance. Gratitude begins with awareness. Instead of losing ourselves in delays, problems, or disappointments, we turn our attention to the simple gifts we often overlook: the warmth of sunlight against our skin, the laughter of someone we love, the taste of fresh tea, or the shelter of a safe home. These gifts are small in size, but enormous in meaning when we pause long enough to notice them. This practice does not deny suffering. Life still carries pain and struggle. Gratitude does not erase hardship, it balances it. It teaches us to hold both realities together, the wound and the blessing, the sorrow and the joy. In this balance, difficulties lose their power to overshadow the beauty that quietly persists all around us. When gratitude becomes part of our daily rhythm, it reshapes the mind itself. We build a habit of appreciation, a reflex of noticing what nourishes us rather than what is missing. This habit creates resilience, a buffer against stress, frustration, and envy. When we truly value what we have, longing for what we lack no longer consumes us. From this stability, we walk through uncertainty with greater calm and strength. Gratitude also deepens the bonds we share with others. A sincere thank you, a kind acknowledgement, a small gesture of appreciation. These simple acts strengthen trust and love. In Buddhist thought, this is how we recognize our interconnection. Our lives are sustained by countless unseen hands. The farmer who grew our food, the stranger who held the door, the friend who listened when we needed it most. All are part of the invisible web of kindness that gratitude brings into focus. There are many ways to cultivate this practice. Some keep a gratitude journal, recording 3 things each day that they cherish. Over time, the mind shifts naturally toward abundance. Others weave gratitude into meditation, reflecting quietly on blessings both small and large, sending silent thanks for each one. Even mindful observation, pausing to notice the colors of the evening sky, the song of a bird, the comfort of a warm blanket, can open the heart to appreciation. Acts of kindness are another form of gratitude in motion. When we hold the door for another, offer encouragement, or give time to someone in need, we extend the gratitude we have received. These gestures ripple outward, inspiring more kindness and appreciation in return. Even in seasons of loss or difficulty, gratitude can be an anchor. Naming even the smallest blessings, a moment of rest, a lesson learned, a supportive word, provides comfort and perspective. It reminds us that life, even in hardship, continues to offer gifts if we are willing to see them. Over time, this way of living reshapes our inner world. Gratitude helps us release constant comparison, quiets envy, and softens dissatisfaction. It reminds us that joy is not something we chase into the future, but something hidden in plain sight, in this breath, in this moment, in the life we are already living. Buddhism teaches that much suffering comes from wanting reality to be different than it is. Gratitude loosens this grip. By cherishing what is already here, we rest more easily in the present, while still striving for growth without bitterness or restlessness. Gratitude then becomes not just an emotion, but a daily discipline of the heart, a practice that fills life with light, softens the mind with peace, and connects us more deeply to the endless beauty of being alive. Lesson 5. The strength of living with integrity. In Buddhism, ethical living is not just about morality. It is the very ground on which peace and purpose are built. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." Our thoughts form our words shape our actions, and our actions ripple out to shape the world around us. To live with integrity is to align the inner and outer life, to walk a path where compassion, honesty, and respect guide every step. When we do this, peace no longer feels like something distant to chase. It becomes the quiet atmosphere we breathe in daily. Ethical living begins with awareness. Every thought, every word, every deed has consequences. This is the principle of karma, not as punishment or reward, but as natural law. Just as a pebble dropped in water creates ripples that travel outward, our choices ripple across time and space. A harsh word may echo in someone's heart for years. A kind gesture may inspire generations. In this way, every small act matters. Choosing compassion over cruelty, truth over deceit, generosity over greed, each decision becomes a seed planted in the garden of our lives. Over time, these seeds bloom into harmony, trust, and resilience. Honesty is one of the deepest roots of this garden. A lie, no matter how small, begins to erode the soil of trust. It may feel easy in the moment, but it builds walls of doubt and distance. Truth, on the other hand, may sometimes be difficult, but it lays down foundations strong enough to carry relationships through storms. Honesty gives us the freedom of not having to remember masks we've worn or stories we've fabricated. It allows us to live light, without the weight of pretense, and in that lightness, there is peace. Kindness is another essential element of ethical living. The Buddhists call it metta, loving kindness without conditions. It doesn't always look dramatic. Often it is small and quiet. A gentle word when someone is discouraged, a listening ear when someone is in pain, or even a smile offered to a stranger passing by. The power of these moments cannot be measured by their size. They ripple outward in unseen ways, softening hearts, lifting spirits, and reminding others of their own capacity to love. Think back to a moment when someone showed you unexpected kindness. It probably still lingers in your memory, long after the act itself passed. That is the power of compassion. Respect is equally vital, for ethical living is not only about what we do, but how we see the world. When we respect life, we begin to see the interconnectedness that ties all beings together. A bird, a tree, a stranger, a friend, each carries a role in the vast web of existence. To respect others is to acknowledge that our lives are sustained by countless unseen efforts. The farmer who grew the food on our plate, the worker who built the road we travel, the stranger who holds the door open. Respect awakens gratitude and reminds us that harming another is, in some sense, harming ourselves. Living ethically also requires self-discipline. It is not the harsh discipline of punishment, but the gentle discipline of alignment, choosing to act in ways that reflect our deepest values. It is the pause before speaking in anger, the moment of reflection before passing judgment, the choice to refrain from gossip or deceit. Each act of restraint protects our own peace of mind, sparing us from the regret and restlessness that follow impulsive harm. Self-discipline shields us from scattering our energy on negativity and instead channels it toward what nurtures growth and harmony. Another jewel of ethical living is forgiveness. To carry a grudge is to drink poison while hoping another will suffer. Forgiveness does not mean excusing harm or pretending it never happened. It means releasing ourselves from the weight of anger so that we can walk forward unburdened. Without forgiveness, we are chained to the past. With it, we free both ourselves and others from a cycle of resentment. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is strength in its most liberating form. There is a story of a young monk who once asked his teacher, "How can I live a life unshaken by the world?" The teacher pointed to a bamboo swaying in the wind and said, "Look at how it bends, but does not break. Its strength is not in resisting the wind, but in the depth of its roots. Your roots are your ethics. Honesty, kindness, respect, compassion. These anchor you. Without them, the storms of life will uproot you." The monk understood then that true strength is not found in rigidity, but in living so deeply rooted in integrity that no storm can uproot the peace within. Buddhist ethics are not rigid rules meant to confine us. They are gentle guidelines, born of compassion, meant to protect both ourselves and the world around us. They remind us that our peace is never separate from the peace of others. When we live truthfully, kindly, and respectfully, we do not simply improve our own lives. We create ripples of harmony that touch families, communities, and even generations to come. One person living ethically can influence many, just as a single lamp can light countless others without losing its own flame. This is how ethical living multiplies its impact. Quietly, steadily, without fanfare, yet with profound power. By embodying integrity, we become examples, showing others that peace and strength do not come from wealth, power, or control, but from living with a conscience unburdened by deceit, anger, or greed. And ultimately, ethical living is not about perfection. It is about intention. It is about showing up to each moment with awareness, striving to let our actions reflect the best within us, even when it is difficult. It is about aligning the inner and outer life so that what we think, what we feel, and what we do form a single path of integrity. When we live this way, we discover that ethics are not restrictions, but freedoms. They free us from regret, from guilt, from inner conflict. They free us to live with clarity, strength, and joy. By committing to ethical living, we step into a life that cannot easily be shaken. We find the courage to face challenges with calmness, the compassion to ease the suffering of others, and the peace of knowing we are living in alignment with our highest values. And in this alignment, we discover that ethical living is not a burden, but a blessing, a source of lasting strength, serenity, and unshakable joy. Lesson 6: The Art of Letting Go. One of the most liberating truths in Buddhism is the power of letting go. The Buddha taught that the root of suffering lies in attachment, our insistence that life must unfold exactly as we imagine, that people must act according to our expectations, that outcomes must follow the script we've written in our minds. But what if the key to peace is not in tightening our grip, but in releasing it? What if freedom comes not from control, but from surrender? Letting go does not mean indifference or passivity. It means participating fully in life, doing our best, and then loosening the fist that clings to how things must be. It means allowing life to unfold without constant resistance. Imagine standing in a river. If you fight the current, every step is a struggle. You burn through your strength and feel exhausted. But if you allow yourself to move with the flow, you travel with ease. Life is much the same. When we stop resisting and start trusting, we find a rhythm of calm that carries us forward with less struggle and more grace. Consider how often we suffer because we refuse to let go. We replay conversations in our minds, trying to change words already spoken. We cling to relationships that no longer nurture us, fearing the emptiness that might follow. We grip tightly to specific visions of success, believing happiness will come only if we reach them. Yet in this clinging, we become trapped, not by life, but by the stories we tell ourselves about how life should be. Letting go in relationships is perhaps one of the most difficult yet transformative practices. How often do we try to mold others to fit our vision of who they should be? We expect friends, partners, or family members to meet our unspoken conditions, and when they fall short, frustration follows. But real connection is born not from control, but from acceptance. When we release the need to force outcomes, we allow others to be who they truly are. This creates space for genuine love and respect. Harmony is born when two people can stand together without trying to bind or change one another. In our careers too, attachment can become a source of endless stress. We often define success as a fixed destination, a title, a salary, a recognition. When setbacks appear, despair sets in because reality did not match our rigid picture. But what if the so-called setback is actually a detour leading us to a better path? Many people discover that failures they once resisted became the turning points toward greater fulfillment. Trusting the process of life means seeing every step, whether smooth or rocky, as part of the journey. When we let go of clinging to one narrow vision, we open ourselves to opportunities that align more deeply with our true nature. Personal challenges often test our ability to surrender. Health struggles, financial uncertainty, or sudden life changes shake us to our core. Yet even here, letting go has power. To accept reality is not to give up, but to stop fighting what already is. A person living with chronic illness, for example, may find new meaning and unexpected joy by releasing the constant battle for the life they once had and embracing the life they have now. Acceptance does not erase pain, but it transforms it, allowing us to discover resilience and beauty even within hardship. The practice of letting go also brings us back to the present. Our constant need to control tomorrow pulls us out of today. We become so focused on what's ahead that we miss what is here. The taste of a meal, the sound of rain, the presence of a friend. Letting go is an invitation to return to now. It reminds us that this moment, right here, holds its own gifts. When we are present, gratitude blossoms naturally. Letting go teaches us patience as well. Life has its own rhythm. Not everything will arrive on our schedule, and forcing timing only creates suffering. Think of a flower. You cannot demand it to bloom faster. If you pull its petals open, you destroy it. All you can do is tend to the soil, water it with care, and wait for the right season. Life works the same way. By letting go, we trust that growth and change happen in their own time. There is a well-known Buddhist story of two monks traveling together. They came to a river where a woman stood, unable to cross. One monk lifted her onto his back, carried her across, and set her down. The monks continued their journey in silence, but hours later, the other monk burst out, "Why did you carry that woman? We are not supposed to touch women." The first monk smiled and replied, "I put her down at the riverbank. Why are you still carrying her?" This story reveals how tightly we cling to what is already gone. Letting go means releasing not only people or outcomes, but also the burdens of the past that weigh us down long after the moment has passed. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." These words hold the essence of letting go. Clinging creates fear, fear of loss, fear of change, fear of uncertainty. When we loosen our grip, we realize that much of what we feared was an illusion. Non-attachment is not detachment from life. It is freedom within it. It means loving fully, working wholeheartedly, and living deeply without chaining our happiness to specific results. Trusting the process of life is an act of faith, not blind faith, but faith born of wisdom. It is the understanding that we cannot see the entire picture, yet the universe is not chaotic. Life has its own intelligence, its own timing. When we stop forcing and start trusting, anxiety begins to dissolve. We stop asking, "What if everything goes wrong?" and begin to believe, "Whatever happens, I will find my way through." Letting go is not a single moment, but a lifelong practice. Each day brings new attachments, new fears, new desires, new expectations, and each day offers us the chance to loosen them, to take a breath, to release what no longer serves us. Every act of letting go strengthens our inner stability, making us more resilient, more peaceful, and more open to life's gifts. Ultimately, letting go is about freedom. It is about walking through life with open hands rather than clenched fists. It is about flowing with the current rather than fighting against it. When we let go, we do not lose control. We gain serenity. We discover that peace has been waiting all along, not in the world outside us, but in the heart that trusts the rhythm of life. So pause for a moment now. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to so tightly that it is draining your spirit? What could you release today? An old grudge, an unmet expectation, a fear about the future that would allow you to breathe more freely. Take a deep breath, loosen your grip, and trust the process. Because in that surrender, you will find the freedom, resilience, and joy that no circumstance can take away. Lesson 7. The practice of mindful presence. Have you ever finished a meal and realized you barely tasted it? Or driven somewhere only to notice you don't remember a single part of the journey? This is how most of us live. Our bodies are here, but our minds are elsewhere. We are lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries, rarely present in the only place life truly exists, this moment, right now. In Buddhism, this is called mindfulness, or sati. It is the practice of being fully alive and aware in each passing breath, each movement, each thought. Mindfulness is not simply a meditation technique. It is a way of living. It transforms ordinary life into something extraordinary because it teaches us to stop sleepwalking through time and to awaken to what is right before us. The Buddha once explained that the mind, when untamed, is like a wild monkey, jumping from branch to branch, restless and noisy. But through mindfulness, we begin to calm that monkey. We notice its movements without chasing it, and slowly, the mind settles into clarity. In that clarity, peace arises. There is a famous Buddhist parable about a monk walking in the forest. Suddenly, a tiger appeared, chasing him. The monk ran until he reached the edge of a cliff. Desperate, he grabbed a vine and climbed down, dangling above a deep ravine. Above him, the tiger roared. Below him, sharp rocks waited. As he clung to the vine, he noticed a small strawberry growing nearby. He reached out, plucked it, and tasted its sweetness. In that instant, despite the danger, he was fully alive, fully present. This story is not about the tiger or the cliff. It is about the strawberry. Life is fleeting, and even in the midst of fear and uncertainty, moments of beauty are always within reach if we are awake enough to notice. Mindful presence is about living with this awareness. It does not remove life's challenges, but it changes our relationship to them. When we are mindful, we experience events directly, rather than through the fog of judgment, fear, or distraction. A painful moment remains painful, but it does not multiply into suffering caused by resistance and overthinking. A joyful moment becomes more vivid, more nourishing, because we are truly there to receive it. In daily life, mindfulness can be practiced in the simplest acts. When eating, instead of rushing, notice the flavors, textures, and the effort it took for that food to reach your plate. When walking, feel your feet touch the earth with each step, as if the entire planet is supporting you. When breathing, recognize the miracle of air filling your lungs, sustaining you with no effort of your own. These practices seem small, but over time, they retrain the mind to rest in presence instead of scattering itself in endless worry. Modern life constantly pulls us away from presence. Our phones buzz, screens glow, responsibilities pile up, and suddenly we are living on autopilot, half awake, half alive. Mindfulness is the antidote to this distraction. It invites us to slow down, to give our full attention to one thing at a time. This not only reduces stress, but also restores meaning to our days. Imagine the difference between eating a meal while scrolling through endless news and eating that same meal with your full awareness, gratitude, and presence. One is shallow consumption. The other is nourishment for body and soul. Mindful presence also strengthens the lessons we've already explored. A calm mind becomes possible because mindfulness teaches us to notice thoughts without reacting to them. Inner resilience grows when we can face pain without drowning in it. Gratitude deepens because mindfulness reveals small blessings we usually overlook. Letting go becomes natural when we are no longer trapped by past stories or future anxieties. In this way, mindfulness is the bridge that ties all Buddhist teachings together. It is the practice that turns philosophy into lived reality. But mindfulness is not just personal. It also transforms our relationships. How often do we truly listen to someone without planning our response, without distraction? To give another person our full presence is one of the greatest gifts we can offer. It tells them, "You matter. This moment matters. I am here with you." Relationships rooted in presence grow deeper because they are built on genuine connection rather than half attention. Of course, mindfulness is not easy at first. The mind will wander, distractions will intrude, impatience will arise. But this too is part of the practice. Each time you notice the wandering mind and bring it back, you are strengthening your awareness. Mindfulness is like training a muscle. The more we practice, the stronger it becomes. A simple way to begin is with the breath. Just pause, close your eyes if you wish, and feel the inhale and exhale. Notice the coolness of air entering, the warmth of air leaving. Thoughts will come. That's okay. Let them pass like clouds drifting across the sky and return gently to the breath. With time, you will discover a stillness underneath all the noise, a presence that has always been there, waiting for you to return. The present moment is not a stepping stone to something else. It is life itself. Yet so often we treat it as if it were in the way, rushing past it to get to the next task, the next destination. Mindfulness reminds us that nothing is missing here. This moment, when met fully, is enough. So I invite you, today as you go about your life, choose one simple act to do mindfully. Drink your tea without distraction. Walk slowly, feeling each step. Listen to someone with your full attention. Notice how it feels. Notice the calm it brings. Each small act of mindfulness is a doorway into peace. The practice of mindful presence is not about changing your life. It is about waking up to the life you already have. It is about tasting the strawberries along the path, even when tigers roar and cliffs loom. It is about remembering that freedom, joy, and peace are not waiting in the future. They are available here, now, in this very breath. Conclusion. As we come to the close of these lessons, pause for a moment and reflect on what we've walked through together. We began with the vision of a calm mind, like still water untouched by storms. We discovered that no one can truly hurt us unless we open the door and let them in. We learned to see every person as a teacher, turning life itself into a classroom. We embraced acceptance, not as resignation, but as strength. We uncovered the light of gratitude, the power of ethical living, the freedom of letting go, and finally, the beauty of mindful presence. These teachings are not abstract philosophies from a distant past. They are living truths meant to guide us right now, in our homes, in our work, in our relationships, in the quiet moments we often overlook. Each principle is like a lamp. Alone, it casts light, but together, they illuminate the entire path, showing us how to walk with clarity, resilience, and compassion through a world that often feels uncertain and noisy. Remember this: inner peace is not something waiting for you in the future. It is not locked away in some distant monastery. It begins here, in the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you live each day. The Buddha's wisdom is not asking us to escape the world, but to live fully in it, with calm, balance, and compassion as our companions. So the question is not whether these teachings work, it is whether we will practice them. Will you pause when the mind wants to react? Will you notice the small blessings that life quietly offers? Will you choose compassion over anger, truth over deception, letting go over clinging. Each small act is a step. Each step is a transformation. The storms of life will still come. People will still criticize. Challenges will still appear. But you will not be the same. With these lessons alive in you, you will be like the bamboo rooted deeply in the earth, able to bend, yet never break. You will carry a peace that does not depend on circumstances, but flows from within. If these teachings have touched you, I invite you to take them beyond this video. Practice them, share them, live them. And if you found value here, consider joining our community. Like, share, and subscribe so these lessons can reach others who may need them. In doing so, you not only support this channel, you also help spread wisdom that can bring light into countless lives. At the heart of Buddhism lies a simple truth. The world will always change, but peace is possible. And that peace begins with you, with your mind, your choices, your presence. So today, take a deep breath, step gently into this moment, trust the process, walk with integrity, see the teachers all around you, and remember, peace is not somewhere else. It is here, it is now, it is within you.